G'day, how yous all going? This is Ian Harris from Australia here, or aka Ianapolis, your acrylic guru. Alright, you saw the painting that we're going to do on the opening credits there of that beautiful mountain, water, tree kind of thing. Now that's quite an easy painting to paint. So join me in this video and let's learn and see just how easy it is, okay? But before we do, I just want to show everybody the size of the canvas, because some people always want to know, what size canvas are you using? There it is, right there, in centimetres. It's a canvas board. It's not a stretched canvas. I'll just put some gloves on. And I'll move over to the side here, because there they go. They're the colours we're going to use in this tutorial today. And this is for you first time beginners, or even you're a beginner and you're on and off with your painting, okay? So I'm going to start off with my canvas board and get going with the colours down on the palette here. But before I do, I want you to check out the description in the link below, because there will be a link you can click on if you want to go to my Patreon page. That allows you to support my content and keeps me more viable to keep buying things and producing and editing videos and getting it out there, okay? And I've had a couple of people already get back to me. They're clicking on it, they want to become a patron, and you've got a little dollar sign you can click. You can click that and it'll make you send me $1 every month, but some people want to change it and we weren't sure how to change it. So underneath, when you click that dot for the dollar, a little white box comes underneath it, and you can type in there the amount you want to donate every month. Less than a cup of coffee a month's not going to hurt everybody to keep this channel going a lot more regular than what it has been in the past. But anyway, let's get back to this tutorial. Now what I'm going to put onto my palette here is my flowing white paint to prime my canvas board, and I love phthalo blue. You can use any blue you want, primary blue, cerulean blue, any blue you like, but I'm a favourite person. I love my phthalo blue. So now, grabbing our retarder. That retarder is going to help slow down the drying time of the acrylic paints. Now I've got my squirty bottle and I want to dampen my canvas board. I'm grabbing the flowing white paint into my brush. 9 times out of 10 I start my type of paintings this way. Okay, that's flowing all over the canvas board like so. Now you don't have to work as quick as me. If you're a first time beginner and you like the colours and the look of this painting, play this video all the way through and see what's happening and what you're going to use. Set yourself up and play the video again, stop and start, and play along with me and paint along with me, okay? It's that easy. Alright, we've got that on there. Now we're going to incorporate some beautiful blue sky and some reflection for the water, okay? Now I've put this retarder in there because I'm doing blending. Now I've washed that same brush and now I'm picking up the phthalo blue, getting it into my brush with retarder on there, okay? And we're going to go back up to the canvas. I'm sorry you didn't get to see me put this on the board, but the camera was off when I did that, and I turned the camera on when I thought I was turning it off. So what I've gone and done, I've gone and put the blue on, I've left white gaps, and I've blended with my blending brush. Just like this. I'll just blend it some more. Okay. Just getting the brush strokes out. And I did the same down here. I just put some strokes of blue down the bottom area, and then I got my brush and I pulled them across horizontal like that just to get some water, okay? All right, that white that I put on the beginning was just a flowing white paint I use as a primer. That's not what I use in paintings to get my whites in there. I've got a proper structured, thick quality white here. So I'm going to get some of this onto my little palette up here, and I'll wet it a little bit, just so it's going to move. Now, I love doing my clouds with a fan brush, okay? I've used my hog bristle fan brush. So I'm going to load that paint onto my hog bristle fan brush, both sides. All right. You might notice me looking over there a bit, but I'm just looking at my monitor to make sure everything's in shot and the camera's rolling. All right, now we'll put some clouds in here. We'll go, how can I have a cloud in here? So we'll sort of come, I'll use this white bit here, and I love crisscrossing. Now see this white paint? It's thick. If I use that white flowing paint, it'll be very translucent, and you'll be thinking, why aren't my clouds working out like his did? Now come over here. That's the cloud that I crisscrossed on with my brush, my fan brush. Now from about here, roughly in my mind, I'm going to blend that much down and then tickle the tops up. So I'm using a desired brush I want to blend, and it's the same, blending it softly, not very heavy, from about that point and down into the atmosphere there. And to give your clouds a bottom, which I have a habit of not giving very much, you just let the bottom of the cloud happen, like so. I normally brush them right down into the atmosphere. Now we've done that cloud. It was quite easy. And then we're just going to, I'm not touching, now I am, we just sort of tickle the top sometimes, just to sort of kill that thick brush stroke. It gives it a sense of, bit of a realism. Now the cloud looks fine. Let's put another one here. Now I've cleaned my fan brush and I'm loading it up both sides with that beautiful thick titanium white. All right, we're going to put one about here, just a small one. Now we do the same again. This way, I'm going to try and create these clouds to be coming out of the sky like that instead of just flat across the canvas. And to do that, you put your cloud on, you blend the bottom half down like I always say, and give that cloud a bottom. You've got to give it a bottom for that to happen, okay? Tickle the top a little bit. Okay, there's that cloud. Now we do another one. I've cleaned my brush, I've loaded it up and ready to go again. So I want this next one to come just above this one here. So we're going to give him the top he desires and something enough to blend down. Probably there, like that, okay? I've got another blending brush so I can fit in there. Now I'm going to blend that again, halfway down. Very light and soft, tipping, tapping, and give it a bottom over that one you just put on. Okay? We'll go a bit, I'm just a bit shy of paint there, so we better put a bit more on. And bring it in front of that other cloud, and then tickle the tops. Wipe your brush as you go. Give the top a bit of tickling if it needs it. Okay, this one could have been a bit smaller or that one could have been a bit bigger, but that's what's happening. I've just stabbed some more white up there where it was a bit light on the blue, and I'm going to blend that as well, make it the bottom of a big cloud up there. Okay, just so it doesn't look a bit underpainted from the blue. Anyway, there's our sky. We've got a decent sky, some easy clouds. We better put some in the water. Just there's not enough in the reflection of the water. So what we'll do here, load that brush up again. You've got a cloud about here. One's there, and some massive cloud here. That's all you have to do. Grab your brush and pull it like that Now it is a bit dry there. Give it a bit of a mist with water and then pull that again and you watch it spread. It's done a lot better job. That's all we wanted, some hint of clouds in the water, okay? Alright, now being acrylic, I've got my small brush. I'm going to wet it, okay, tap it out a bit, and I'm picking up just some straight black, because it's in acrylic we can do our mountains with brushes. These flat brushes are great. Okay, so we'll just load it up with that, and it's giving you a nice sharp chiseled edge so you can get beautiful lines if you need to, like that. Look at that. We don't need a knife. Now I want a mountain up here, so I want something sort of in the distance first. So something maybe up here. And because I'm putting water on it, why I'm putting water on it, see how it was sort of stopping there? I want the paint to flow off the brush. That'll do. Now what I'm going to do is colour this in. I'll speed this up here a little bit so I don't bore you. Okay, there's the background for our distant mountain. Alright, the next colour I like to do for my mountains is get some Van Dyke brown and mix it with some white, okay? So we'll get a nice lighter tone of Van Dyke brown going up there, and that'll be the base for our mountain. So let's go back up there. Now work out, I want probably a bit of darkness in there as well. So I'm going to do this mountain first, somewhere there like that. Okay. Get the top done. Now if that's a bit too skin colour, I've added just some more Van Dyke brown. I'm not too happy with the colour of that, the way it's looking. Leave a few little bits of darks in it. Come all the way out here. This is going to be covered up there anyway. Wipe your brush on your paper towel, whatever, and just pull that back like so. I've dried that black, I don't know if I told you or not, but I've dried this, so this isn't all going to mud up. Okay, now we'll load our brush up again and do the other side. So, and just work out where you want darks and lights, and follow the shape of your land as well. You can virtually do these mountains any shape you want. Alright, I'm not going to clean the brush, I'm not going to wash it. I'm just grabbing some black in some white, making some grey, and I want to just give us some darkness on the little valley in that mountain there, which is about here. So we'll come down virtually on an angle all the way in there, all the way down there, colour him in there, and there we go. Now I'll wipe that brush, washing it, and getting a bit of white. Wipe the brush and pull that up into the grey there, just so we've got lighter colours of grey there somewhere. Don't want it too dark. That'll do it. Okay, I'm using the Australian sienna, and I'm putting some other brown values into this mountain here. I'm not even thinking, I'm just going anywhere really. Over that side, a bit over here. maybe get something down here, just so you're changing the values of these colours a bit. And then I'm mixing up some white into the brush now, just to give that some highlights, mainly over this top ridge there. You can practice, you've got to practice all these things. I really recommend it. Get some of that lighter colours in there. Okay, come over to this side. And we're just adding some lighter values in here now. Just give it some charisma. That'll do it. Now I'm going to dry that brush on my paper towel, wipe it all off, and I want to just merge. See here how it looks a bit blobby? I want to merge it downwards, just like that. That's it, not too wet there. Get that up there. That's it. And maybe get a bit of white on its own. See, that mountain's not dry. See where I put that white on? Over here it's a bit drier. So I'm going to get some bits of white in here. That'll do. I don't want to go overboard with it. And push that through the colours as well. Bleeding it and blending it. Here we go. Alright, now I'm going to blow dry this. Now I have some more smaller and medium sized flathead brushes, a square, chiselled head. And my favourite grass colours are forest green, sap green and yellow green. And a bit of yellow. Well, and I should put a bit of white there as well, just to, in case I'm going to need some white. Now I blow dry that mountain, so I start off with the darker colour, which is the forest green. Get a bit of water in there so it's going to come off the brush onto the canvas. If it's really thick, it's hard to come off. And we're going to get some bits of green field colours happening out here into the mountain. Now try and remember, if you've got shapes and moulds and mounds in there, try and follow those. I'm not going to have it all grass, I just want certain areas. So from a distance it's going to look like ground cover growing over a rocky surface. So I'll get all the most of that there, get some growing over here, because part of this is going to be covered up as well. Get over here, right against here, coming down. I love doing these sort of mountains. They're just so easy in acrylic and they look effective when they're done, if you do them all right. Here we go. Now, before we add the next colour, which is going to be the sap green, which when you're putting that on, you might not notice much, but it's doing its job. You've got to dry this. If you don't, you're going to have trouble. Now that's looking like grass over the top of the mountain there. That's what I want, okay? Get a bit of thickness over here somewhere. Now let's dry that. Now that's dried. I've washed my little chiselled brush. Now I'm incorporating some sap green in here. Just covering over there but leaving. So you're covering up that darker forest green but leaving some forest green to show. So you just sort of, all this adds depth, shadow in your ground cover, and it hides some other mistakes that you might have made if you've got some ugly brush strokes there. But that's what beginning painting is all about. You learn with every painting and you can better yourself as you go. Now that's enough for that. I'm just going to wash that, wipe it, and pick up the yellow green now. We'll see if we need to dry it. We didn't put much on there. And this is the actual ground cover on those rocky hills in the distance. This is all in the distance, don't forget. Okay, look at that. Come in a bit closer. I've chiselled it on there, and I've chiselled it onto my brush, and I'm using this to create the flow of grass in the distance, leaving the darker colours underneath as well. Okay, come up here, come on this side, dribble down into those darker colours, a little bit there. It's pretty fun and easy, isn't it? I love doing this. I'll tell you what, I can do this all day until the cows come home. Alright, and we'll do a little bit over here. Now I'm not using just straight yellow. There's my yellow-green. I've grabbed some yellow on my brush and contaminated the yellow-green with more yellow, and this highlights the actual detail up there, what we were doing on our mountain. Very lightly. This is still green. Don't overdo it, just very lightly. Don't overdo all that green there. Practice this. See how that's looking? Same here. That's all it needs. Pick up some more. As I'm picking it up, I'm chiseling it onto my brush like that. I'm not just getting it on there, I'm chiseling it, so I'm shaping the edge of my brush. I'm training it to hit the canvas the way I want it to act, like a knife or something. Because that's sort of going up those shadowy bits there, if anything. And then we'll... But like I said, a lot of this is going to be covered up with foreground stuff. This is just there. Okay, we've got light. Light can be coming from anywhere in this painting. I'm just looking in the monitor to see how it's looking. Okay, my monitor just turned itself off. I'll quickly get this side done. Now I'm just picking up a bit of white into that contaminated yellow, green and yellow, getting a bit of white and finishing it off. See how that's, you can really see that stand out now. There's that little bit there that I've done. You don't want to do this everywhere, just sort of bits. Everything's in bits at a time. A bit over here. See, like that, and it's making it stand out. And over here, I want it mainly on the edge of this cliff here, or this ledge of this part of the mountain. Maybe a little bit in there. God, you can get carried away doing this, eh? I tell you what, it's fun. So much fun. Alright, there's our distant mountain. Now we haven't got a reflection in here, so we're going to do that now. But see, if you find that mountain, I can't do that, study this part of the video, how I done it, and learn just that mountain on a separate canvas first, and learn how to do that. Make your own shape, work out where you want a grey, shadowy bit. That's my procedure in my mountains. And then work out where you want the humps and the crests and the dark bits, okay? And then practice it and practice it. Once you've got it, then do a painting. A lot of people make the mistake of just watching a tutorial and, oh, I'm going to do that. Then they're doing some bits easy, then the harder bits that are more harder than the previous bits, they come along and they go, no, I can't get it, and they get frustrated and they get angry and they hurt their painting. So it always pays to practice whatever you're going to paint, okay? Now we're going to get a bit of a reflection in there. So I'm going to grab a pull down brush. And I've got my fan brush. Now I'm going to use the colours just here. I've wet my fan brush, so this paint's pretty wet, and I've got a pull brown brush ready to pull down at the same time. So we've got those colours that we use for the mountain first. We've loaded our fan brush up, and we want to, there. Now I've got to pull that down. Okay, and just a bit at a time when you do this, so I better make that a bit wetter. It's not quite wet enough. Somewhere here, just like that, and pull down. That'll do. Now I've got to wipe this brush, clean it, and I'll quickly get those green colours incorporated. And let's say we'll call it the lawn colours. So I'm mixing all them up on my fan brush, just like so. We'll get some on there like that. Look at that, that was so easy. Grab another brush to pull down, and we'll pull that down as well. What have I got on there? I've got something on my canvas there. Let's pull that down again. Alright, now we'll do that again on the other side. We've mainly got it here. Look where you got it there and here. Now we'll pull that down. And of course, not forgetting our dark bit in the middle. Oh, it's not dark, it's grey. I'd say it's a bit grey, so I've just got some grey back on my brush, and I'll just sort of put that in there and pull it down as well. Alright, now let's get that across. Wipe your brush that you pulled it down with, and let's come across this way once, and then the other side's ready to get dirty twice. That's good enough for our reflection because other stuff's going to come in front of this. Alright, now I'm going to have another foreground here and a mountain coming up here, okay? So now this is dry, that's still damp. I want to wet just the bottom half, get my forest green and put that in with I might use this brush here. I've got a small 1/2 inch brush. So I'm going to get my forest green. This is going to be the very first bit. So I'm going to come maybe across from here, come in front of there. I'm coming up and down. Come a bit closer. I'm coming up and down at the same time. Up and down, up and down. Let's stop for a minute and pull that down for our reflection. That's it, there's our horizon line. And let's go again. Now I want to sort of come a bit bigger over here, maybe. These are just distant trees. Now they're coming quite big over here. See, I've sprayed this canvas, which has allowed that water, when I pull it down, to stretch like it does when the oil people do it. We'll call them the oil people, we're the acrylic people. Okay, so there's that there, okay? Get that along there. Come along here maybe, won't hurt it. That'll do, hang on. There we go. Now, we're going to carefully, when you put this on, softly. See, if I've gone too hard, it'll pull it like that. Pulling this down into the water and over here. Now, I'm grabbing that same brush after I've just washed it and I'm putting it into the yellow-green, dabbing the tip of that into some water and getting this nice and stampy. That'll do. So let's come up to there. Now we'll start on this side here where we've got somewhere to work with. So we don't want too much of this. That's plenty there because I want some, you got to have some blacks in it. That'll do there. See how easy that was? Grab your brush from the same horizon line, pull it down very softly, just there you go. And now over here we'll put some, not too much because we've got these colours in the mountain, we don't want them to clash, but I'm going to break up that clashing in a minute. That's all you need to do. Hang on, we need some of that a bit lower into our reflection there. I didn't quite go low enough into the reflection area. There we go. Pull that down like a gentleman. There we go. Oh, it's a bit crooked. That's all right. Okay, now, see that? We got to give that some depth. I've left that paint in the brush. I'm just wiping it Now I'm using the white flowing paint here because it's very wet, it's not thick. Yeah, that's the colour I want. Now, very carefully, let's see if we can highlight some of this without killing it. Where you put that yellow green, just on that yellow green there. Do that first. Okay, then come and put your reflection-y bits in. Make sure you load your brush again. Get those reflections back in. Okay, put that down like a gentleman, and then lightly pull those reflections down. There we go, there we go. All the way. Okay. Now what we need to do to make that look real is a bit of black and white, and I'll show you. I'm grabbing my fan brush. I'm going to load up that with some black so it's nice and pointy and chiseled onto my brush. And you just want to come along, not too much, very thin. Come back here, break it up a bit. And now I've got to pull that down, pull that blacks down. Okay. Now bring it, now see this bush, we need some, just bits of black in there, not too much. Somewhere where you think it needs some black. That's it, right? Now, I've got to load this brush up again, and those bits of black I put in there, just sort of copy them back down into your shadow here. That's it, very easy, very lightly, and then lightly pull that down. Okay? Before I forget, we've got to virtually join this up with some black right under here. Just wiggle it across like a line, just like that. And then we'll find that horizon line again and pull it down from there. Alright, you can see what's happening. Alrighty, I'm having really lots of fun doing this, and I hope you are too. This is getting me excited here. Now I've got a good knife. Make sure the edge of it's straight, not buckled, because I've had trouble where it doesn't all get on there, because we're going to knife on some of a horizon line. So you come down here, and this is pretty much the easy way to load up your knife. Your knife's clean, spread it onto your palette. Okay, now wipe your knife on a paper towel, which I just did up there. Get it on its edge, pull it through on a bit of a diagonal as you pull it through, and you've got a roll of paint on your knife, okay? Now we want these nice and thin, so remember there's your line. You're looking, keep that line out of your visual vision straight, okay? Now we just want to put these very thin. I'll get my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. And that's it. Just break it up here and there. Just something like that, okay? See, that one's a bit thick. I would have liked that to have been thinner, but not to worry. It's not the end of the world. And then we'll sink the other reflections down as well, just with some random stamping of your knife, sinking those reflections down. What I'm going to do, because I'm not really happy with those lines, I'm going to grab my pull down brush and I'm going to see if I can get this. Yeah, that's working for me. I've just blurred them up. That'll do me. I'm happy with that. I don't want to muck around for it anymore. Now we're going to build another one of these mountains just coming down here into the water, alright? So what we'll do, we'll start off with our black, and the best way is to not try and bring it to the edge of it, bring it off the painting. So this one's coming down here. I'll just sort of put it where I think I want it to be, which is somewhere about there. Okay, now we'll black that in. Get the edge of it nice and tight. And the more wetter you paint, but not too wet, the more it'll come off your brush easier. That's it. Now I'll fill this in, I'll just speed it up so I don't bore you. Then I want to come along and blow dry this. Alright, we got that black. Now I'm thinking we'll have sort of a bank here with the foliage and rocks sort of cascading over it. So what I'll do, I'll load up my flathead chisel brush and I'll work out, get to the very edge there. Now I want to up into the mountain like so. Now like I said, keeping my perspective, I don't want to come along and go like this. I've got to keep it, there's the horizon line. If anything, my strokes are there and I'm sort of tilting it up, okay? Alright, let's put some highlighted bits of white in here, bring it, scoot it through. Okay, that's dry. I've got my wider flathead brush again and I'm picking up the colours that I used over here, the darker forest green again, and I want to lace this black now with all my forest green. Darks with this. Now that's dry. I'm picking up the yellow green and we're doing the same. Yellow green and the forest green there, so they're mixed onto the brush. Come back up to here. Oh, there's not enough yellow green on that. And then we'll get some texture, keeping the blacks in there. Okay, I've got my foliage brush, one I like to use for foliage. Mixed up the yellow green with some white, and I want to try and, it's picked up a little bit of black as well. Get some highlight on here in some sort of way. I'll sort of lace it onto the bank there like that. Let's hope that looks a bit decent. It's not too bad. Now I've grabbed some white on my knife and I've just laced it with the tiniest of black so it's got sort of grey to it. And we just need to... Oh my God, what's going on here? We all make mistakes, don't we? Gotta get a bank going on here. Something against our bank there. Alright, I'm looking at it, and this distant mountain, I think I might have a bit of mist over the top of that to set it back a bit. So I picked up my little scenery brush, and I've got not much paint on it at all. I've virtually put white on it and taken it off. And what we do, this is a good way to get some mist, you very lightly start creating something in front of your background and in the sky. And by rights, that should look like mist back there, hopefully. So I want to get mist over here. See, there's not much in that brush, but there's enough to sink that back in a uneven fashion. See what it's done? Well, see, there's a lot on my brush there. You've got to blend it like you're blending a cloud, I suppose. Okay, we've sort of set that mountain back a bit. Well, I've made a few mistakes in here, but it hasn't turned out too bad. That's the problems you get when you want to paint and you don't know what you're going to paint. Things just don't go in their order. So for you beginners out there, this is a good lesson for you to realise knowing what you're going to paint before you paint it, okay? But anyway, this worked out good, and it's got a few procedures that you can adopt and learn, okay? So I'm just going to sign it now. Alrighty, we'll put a signature on there, and we'll just grab my frame and we'll see how good a frame looks, because a frame always dresses landscapes up very nicely, I think. Alright, let's have a look at that. There you go, we've got a bit of a lake, hill and a mountain scene with a beautiful sky to paint and some depth with our horizon line over there, okay? That's not too shabby, is it, eh? Alright, I hope you enjoyed this exercise, and be sure to click on the link in the description below to take you to my Patreon page, and you can become a patron on that and help support my contact here as well, and we can get this happening a lot more often, okay? There we go, well, I've got to think of a name up for that. If you like what I did, you tell a friend, but if you don't, you tell everybody, okay? All the best, goodbye, good luck, and good on you!